Hey there, Taurus. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a reading for the remainder of May 2025. So we'll see what's coming up for the rest of this month for you. What's going on in May for the Taurus folks? A change of direction in a positive way, I believe. Looking for your advice for this month. It's an odd start to the reading, so I'm going to go ahead and clarify a couple cards, or at least one card to begin with. Man. It seems like it's going to be a month of working with some deep feelings. There's just some odd placements, like not necessarily like alarming, just a little bit peculiar to make sense of. So just so you know kind of the lay of the land for the month, at the heart of your reading, you've got the Eight of Cups. And I know I just said I would clarify a couple cards first, but I think it's important for you right now to have sort of an impression, because I get the sense that like there may be a feeling of like illusion this month maybe, or like clarity being particularly elusive and probably strange, odd feeling. In your conscious world, you have the sun in reverse. Kind of suggests that, well, this is particularly the aspect that I want to clarify, but it seems that there's I don't know, like maybe the kind of feeling of day-to-day life this month might be a little bit like, feel a little bit more harsh. The attitude may be one of like feeling more serious, like maybe the child self, or kind of the younger part of you, or the part that is a little bit more relaxed and carefree, doesn't find full expression, or it has difficulty finding full expression. But ultimately, I think whatever work you're doing here is very important on a soul level. And I think is kind of probably going to work in the direction of bringing you fulfillment. But there may just be like a difficulty connecting with the child self. So maybe in some sort of way there's some important truths to really make sense or peace with that you've had difficulty approaching before. And I think that this emotional stagnation or lack of fulfillment is going to kind of like spur you forward. There's kind of a feeling of not repeating very much for the rest of the month. So maybe the feeling of this sun in reverse would be the awareness of how much there is to change, and also maybe a particular harshness in the fact that things can't go back to the way that they were and feel satisfying again. The structure of life likely will need to change in order for you to find that emotional fulfillment. And also in your advice for this month, you have the Eight of Swords and the Moon. This kind of feels to me like realizing the places where you've imagined yourself to be stuck. Maybe there's been a lack of creativity of some sort, or even whatever the reasons are for feeling stuck or down or depressed. I think by dealing with some of the deeper feelings that you're having and being willing, just because the moon is appearing twice here in this reading and the sun is in reverse. So there's not necessarily a call to go into hermit mode, but there is a highlight on the fact that what is coming up from the subconscious is going to take precedence for the rest of the month. Now, let's go ahead and clarify a few cards. It feels like that's a little bit better, but it feels like kind of an obscure, maybe a little bit vague reading. Okay, so why is the sun in the conscious realm for this month? Why is the sun in reverse the experience of the day-to-day sort of life this month? It could be just the sheer intensity of the energy that's around you and the nature of change at this moment. The reality, like hard realities to face, or realities that feel hard to face. And we'll see later if there's a way of kind of approaching those more gently to kind of ease off that seriousness. To clarify the sun in reverse, you have the World and the Eight of Wands. So when I see these things together, there's a suggestion that whatever cycle you've just kind of come to an end to, and it could have even felt very positive when this happened, and now this is kind of the moment right after that, moment of enlightenment or just clarity, that you kind of realize you have to be a different way now, or begin to act in a different way now. And I think the speed with which things seem to be picking up for you is not making it easier. So I've gotten good advice from a friend before who says that, if life feels like it is speeding up too much, you are moving in the appropriate direction, but it just kind of is feeling out of control, you can ask through prayer or through, meditation, kind of ask the universe, can you dial it down a little bit? I'm feeling overwhelmed here. And that sort of assistance will come. I'm going to go ahead and clarify the advice as well. Why is the Eight of Swords and the Moon the advice for this month? Maybe it feels, it's like maybe there's an old, literally as I was thinking about a sabotage element in this, the Seven of Swords flew out. So that Eight of Swords and the Moon is clarified by the Two of Wands and the Seven of Swords. Right? So I get the feeling that this decision, there could be even some sort of regret in the mix of it. Maybe realizing that now that something has sort of taken off, or that there is a new way that you're called to pursue what it is that you want, there's some indecision maybe, or feeling like too new at what it is that you're doing, that you're not good enough for it, or that it's not. But I get the feeling, especially thinking about the different parts of ourselves, that there is a part of you that is a very strong part that is kind of moving things forward for you, in the sense of dream fulfillment, or feeling the way that you want to feel in your day-to-day life. Because I haven't brought this up till now, but the Nine of Cups is in your subconscious realm for this month. So this is kind of the deeper driver of that, of what you're doing right now and what you've been doing. Looking for that fulfillment. Like that is your driver, and this is the action you're taking. You're leaving behind the stale, the unsatisfying, because this drive for the deep fulfillment is motivating you. Yeah, so even though there's like the deceptive element in with this, way that you're looking at the world in front of you, or the thing that you're building, the new way of being that you're creating, that is just a part. So it's like the saboteur part is working against the deep drive that is pushing you in the appropriate direction. But it feels right now that this decision is unclear. You're doing you feel that you are moving in the right direction, but maybe are wondering, why does it feel so strange? Why does it feel so strange to be moving in the direction that is good for me? That is what you may be thinking. I think I need to spend some time with the challenge now and possibly come back to the advice. Because I think that's where we need clarity at the moment. And for your challenge this month, you have the Queen of Swords. This is kind of like something going on in the mind that is sabotaging or making your emotional fulfillment difficult. So let's see, why is the Queen of Swords? And I just don't think I should take that. Why is the Queen of Swords in the challenge? Man. All right, King of Pentacles came out upright, but kind of flew off the table and landed in a strange way. So, is there one more for the challenge? Maybe not. Yeah, it's like it kind of feels like maybe your different parts are not working very harmoniously together. They're all noble parts. They're all, serving their natural function, but there's a lack of clarity. There's just a lack of clarity is what the feeling is. So I'll give you what I'm working with at the moment, and which is the Queen of Swords in your challenge, clarified by the King of Pentacles and the Temperance card. So that's kind of the element of air and the swords, the thoughts being the challenge, and because it's in the challenge, the thoughts are interrupting the feeling of abundance, the feeling of being able to actually transmute and alchemize the maybe the more negative or toxic feelings into positive feelings. Like that's the playful approach of healing, things that feel damaging, emotionally damaging. I'm kind of feeling like the confusion myself now at the moment. Yeah, it's and this feels like a rigid sort of way of thinking, like a mindset. So it's like maybe there's a lot has changed in your life, in your environment, but your mindset, like kind of the quality of the thoughts that are running through your head that you're giving attention to, maybe those haven't changed quite so much yet. Like your mind is kind of lagging behind to catch up with the success that you've achieved, or the new chapter that you're about to begin walking into. And so I think your challenge is really to lean into more of that King of Pentacles energy and the Temperance energy, and realize that maybe the mind is not so much your friend at the moment as kind of sitting with the emotions, as difficult as they may be, because I think your attitude towards them is going to go a really long way. I think the advice is to be aware that this is what you're working on right now. You're working on stuck mindsets, stuck that arise from deeper limiting beliefs, negative beliefs about like probably your self-worth or your capability. And the advice is that this is the impression of being stuck, because there's something very deep that needs to be worked through as an emotion and felt as an emotion, and not rationalized or made sense of. Or it's like, this is not the challenge is the mind's interruption to you compassionately working with yourself, feeling your emotions, extending that kindness toward you. Let's see. Can I get one more piece of clarity for the challenge? It's like I know I hit it for a moment, but I don't want it to go, unacknowledged in the important way that your emotional fulfillment is the deep drive. Your intuition is not leading you in the wrong direction. It's almost like maybe there was the assumption of things would become easy rather than the realization that there is a speed bump before you get to truly take off in the way that you imagined. But the fact that this personal fulfillment is the driver it's very important, and it's appropriate. So maybe if you can allow yourself some trust that in the deep way, like you are being led, whether you think of this as like your higher self, God, the universe, spiritual guides, or just that sort of intuitive knowing, that's you're being led appropriately. So you're not in the wrong place. Now, can we see if we can get one more clarifying card for your challenge? How can we ask that critical mind to take a back seat for a moment? Yeah, and it seems like maybe changing the way that you are relating to yourself, the way that you see yourself. Because I think again, in your conscious realm, the sun in reverse, there's this feeling of real seriousness and kind of the feeling that the sun, the connection to your spiritual nature, your source, it feels strained or bizarre, strange. And this kind of seems to me, because the Page of Cups came out to clarify your mental challenge, kind of relating to your emotions in a different way, like a child would, or acknowledging the childlike parts of yourself and what a child needs. The nature of children's communication is very different from us in the adult world, so it's like I could totally see how your day-to-day life feels like the child just has not been expressed or has been suppressed quite severely, to prop up this image of a capable adult, that you would like to be, that we all want to be a capable adult. But it's sort of like this ego image I think that's what's melting away. It's like some really important aspect of ego is wanting to melt away. I think one of the keys is to allow life to feel a little bit more playful in whatever way you feel called to, and to invite a little bit more magic, especially if you are a very intellectual kind of individual. That's the challenge. The challenge feels like it's clarified by the oppositional energies. That probably didn't make much sense at all. Yeah, but there's like a more childlike nature that you're called to invite into your life to help things not feel so serious. And the thing of it is like that's where the feeling of abundance is, and that's how the actual material abundance can come in is like by starting with gratitude and recognizing what's here and feeling that abundance now. So as much as you can lean into that with what you're working with in your life, and particularly identifying the small ways, that the small things to be grateful for, that's kind of like being humble and then realizing you have a whole lot. It's like, but you can't really skip the humble part. And let's see now if we can get a little bit more clarity for your advice. Again, I know this reading has been kind of like meandering, but it also feels very circular. There's a lot of there's a lot of things pointing to each other in this reading. So your advice, again, is to be aware of the ways that you feel stuck and, working with the deeper subconscious, urges or emotions or the things that come up is going to be key. Being aware of those things is key. See if we can't get one more piece of clarification. So again, the advice was looking difficult because it's like you're moving in the right direction. You're crafting the world in front of you that you want to see. There's just the sabotage elements of the mind that are working. Okay. All right. Yeah. There is like a really old and tired kind of feeling of scarcity, of fear that's moving through your system, or is very likely moving out of your system. But I think the key is to really look at how stuck this feeling is keeping you, and this belief that things are difficult or need to be difficult or hard, or that the materials that you need to feel satisfied, abundant, complete are not here. There seems to be a lot of just pointing out in this reading. Even the advice doesn't seem to be particularly clear as to like a positive action to lean into to help you with these things. I get more the sense of allowance, So I think maybe, and it could be a very personal revelation, is my guess, because there's not much specificity with the advice for this. It's to sit in the uncomfortable feelings and then see what happens. But the thing of it is like there's kind of like very little to lose, it seems like. This is just a heavy energy. But the thing is, as it came through in reverse, I get the feeling that there is a deep tiredness of this energy. It's in direct opposition to, the driver in you that is looking for fulfillment, that knows that you are worthy of the things that you desire. So it's almost like you're called to like just take stock of your different parts and what they're saying, and to really question, like, does this make sense? Because I get the feeling like the negative things that are coming up just don't even make sense when you either write them down or really consider them. I think now we need to move to your oracle cards for the month, because I think those might illuminate a little bit more than the tarot has as far as like action steps or attitudes to help you shift some of these feelings, kind of shift out of that mental distress or that mental fixation on fixing something or figuring out like why there's an imposter syndrome maybe happening for you that is let's dive into the oracle cards to see what they have to say. I don't know what it is, but I find myself losing my train of thought more in this reading than is usual. And I am still new at doing readings for YouTube. But I've also found that those energies kind of seep into the readings as well. Energies for whoever may be watching. So let's see. We get some oracle cards for Taurus. Oracle cards for Taurus. Interesting little combo came out here. Let's see if we can get one more. Interesting in light of your tarot. Again, kind of like very conflicting elements. Like, or what is the word that's escaping me now? There's a discontinuity, like something just doesn't track. Something that it's like, something just feels kind of off. And it's vague what that thing is at the moment. Let's see. Man, okay. I apologize. You can, if you really are not getting value out of this reading and you've stayed this long, I wouldn't blame you if you moved on with your day, because I'm getting sort of a lot of repeated messaging right now. So for your oracle, it's basically a resistance to give strong, specific advice to what you should be doing, which I can imagine is frustrating. Your oracle cards for the month, though, are postponement, abundance, and silence. Let you see these together. So with postponement and abundance, it's like, again, the rainbow colors are here in postponement, but there is a lack of accessibility. It's like the sweetness of life, the feeling in life doesn't feel tangible. It's almost like it may be a time of depression for you, and I'm really sorry if that's the place that you're in, because it can feel like there is something that is for you, something that you are worthy of, that is waiting for you, available, but for some reason it's difficult to seize it at this moment. So perhaps maybe the message for right now is to rest a little bit more comfortably or patiently in the knowledge that the materials and the resources that you need are here. Something needs to be worked out first for some reason. And I think that your own silence, your own willingness to kind of go into that deeper inner space, or, to sit quietly, is going to be a tremendous help for you the remainder of this month. These are where you're going to find the real answers. So I'm going to read from the guidebook for you for each of these, because I want to give you as many resources as I can, since I don't feel that there's a tremendous amount of specificity in this one. Let's go ahead and read postponement first. Postponement. The woman in this picture is living in a gray landscape full of unreal, cut-out clouds. Through the window frame, she can see colors and light and aliveness. And although she would like to move through the frame, as we can see by the rainbow colors appearing in her garment, she can't quite manage to do it. There's still too much what-if activity in her mind. Tomorrow never comes, they say, but no matter how often it's said, it seems that most of us tend to forget the truth of it. In fact, the one and only result of postponing things is a dull and depressing feeling of incompletion and stuckness today. The relief and expansiveness you'll feel once you put aside all the dithering thoughts that are preventing you from acting now will make you wonder why you ever waited so long. And I want you to trust your intuitive hits that you get from that description. I also want to draw your attention to that stuckness kind of being in your advice as well with that Eight of Swords. That feeling is here, but maybe in some sort of way just taking a small action of any sort without thinking too much about it can help energy move a little bit more. Kind of just being aware of the stuckness and choosing something that feels not stuck to do, most likely. Abundance. Abundance. This Dionysian character is the very picture of a whole man, a Zorba the Buddha who can drink wine, dance on the beach, and sing in the rain, and at the same time enjoy the depths of understanding and wisdom that belong to the sage. In one hand he holds a lotus, showing that he respects and contains within himself the grace of the feminine. His exposed chest, an open heart, and relaxed belly show that he's at home with his masculinity as well, utterly self-contained. The four elements of earth, fire, water, and sky all conjunct at the King of Rainbows, who sits atop the book of wisdom of life. If you're a woman, the King of Rainbows brings the support of your own male energies into your life, a union with the soulmate within. For a man, this card represents a time of breaking through the conventional male stereotypes and allowing the fullness of the whole being to shine forth. So in thinking about your tarot once again, those different parts of you that seem to be at odds with one another that I think we'd characterized as like the mind versus maybe the emotions, or like a protector of some sort with the intellect, moving in a way that is not in harmony with like the heart, or the part that wants to love and experience and be in the world. So possibly thinking about the feminine and masculine dynamics as parts and in the way that they work together may illuminate some things for you as well. Feminine being the more receptive parts of you, and the masculine being the parts that take action and that are very present and conscious in the world. And finally, silence. And silence in this deck is major arcana, so the emphasis on this as advice seems to be strong. The silent mirror-like receptiveness of a star-filled night with a full moon is reflected in the misty lake below. The face in the sky is deep in meditation, a goddess of the night who brings depth, peace, and understanding. Now's a very precious time. It will be easy for you to rest inside, to plumb the depths of your own inner silence to the point where it meets the silence of the universe. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go, and the quality of your inner silence permeates everything you do. It might make some people uncomfortable, accustomed as they are to all the noise and activity of the world. But never mind. Seek out those who can resonate with your silence, or enjoy your aloneness. Now's the time to come home to yourself. The understanding and insights that come to you in these moments will be manifested later on, in a more outgoing phase of your life. Yeah, so I think your moments for action are coming. This is sort of a preparatory phase that maybe you didn't see getting introduced into the mix. But with that, I wish you a lot of deep healing, deep peace, and enjoyment of the silence. May you allow yourself that silence for this month, and receive graciously as you can the things that come through for you, because it will be for your benefit. So take good care. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.